Welcome to another segment of Star Jobs Help Project. I'm Roshan Thiran from Leaderonomics, and with me today in the studio is Michael Reyes, CEO of MoneyTree. Michael, welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much, Roshan.
Michael, just wondering, with so many retrenched people and unemployed people out there today in the market, what would be your advice to these people?
Well, firstly, there's about 800 jobs right now, or 800 skills that you can get funding to get trained for, which a lot of people don't know about. And it's called the SLDN program, offered by Jabatan Pembangunan Kemahiran. And I think that's the first thing that people could do, because after acquiring a skill or a specific skill set, you can then take that and, if you like to, go into a business of your own. But you have all that training financed totally under this program. So that's something I would advise people to look at immediately. But what advice, I mean, so one would be possibly to upgrade your skills. But what other advice, especially if you are in a situation where you really need a job, what would you offer as a piece of advice in terms of, and especially if jobs are not available, what should we do? Okay, firstly, I think jobs are available. Although people are more selective now, obviously. So I think one of the key things that people should do is, first, you have to repackage yourself. If you've been unemployed for a while, I think it's time to revisit that CV and repackage it so that somebody who's going to hire you looks at it and says, okay, this is the person I could use. Second of all, I think the market's got far more competitive. So what people need to do, obviously, is they have no choice but to upgrade themselves. And as a safety net measure, anyone can do this. I mean, whether you have a job or you don't have a job right now, I think we always should look for alternative sources of income. And that's one key area that we've been complacent about over the last, say, 6-7 years.
That's right. And you in MoneyTree, I mean, one of the things you are big about is entrepreneurship. And I know, I mean, one of the things many people think about when they lose their jobs or when they're unemployed is, how can I be an entrepreneur? So what, I mean, are there certain steps or processes or things that we have to do to become an entrepreneur?
I think the first thing is a paradigm shift, a mindset change. Lots of people get entrepreneurship ideas or the idea to be an entrepreneur from movies that they watch or from the TV or whatever it is, and it's not that the first idea that you get on is going to make you $1 million, but that's how people envisage it to be. So the first thing we do is set the right expectations. Then the second thing that we need to look at is, a lot of people, when they get into business, pick what we call natural partners. You and I have been in school before, so because we've been friends, let's just go into business together. And why this is really dangerous, and what we found this out, is because if we're birds of a feather and we flock together, obviously we have the same strengths and the same weaknesses. So to make a business work, essentially you need a full comprehensive set of skills. And that's what we train people on. So after that, then we work on the idea generation and then valuation of the idea and getting funds for this.
So if I was unemployed and I think of entrepreneurship as a possibility, what steps should I start with? I mean, should I be looking at certain places for education, or should I be jumping right in and starting my own business?
Okay, that's an interesting question. Because at MoneyTree, what we have is a program called the Young Entrepreneur Startup Challenge. And what this is it's not like any ordinary business challenge. We force youths who come up with ideas to actually implement those ideas. See, most business challenges are academic. So what they would do is they submit the ideas. We've got a professional panel of judges who then see if that idea is commercially viable. And if it is, then we give them a chance to pitch their idea to a set of investors to get startup money. Now, this is where you can really see if the ideas that you had would actually hold water and actually take off. So that's a testing ground, and you get to correct and adjust yourself along the way.
And if I am, say I'm in a position where I don't have a job now, and I decide, yes, I want to become an entrepreneur, are there certain skills that I need to have that entrepreneurs have, that successful entrepreneurs have?
Well, to put it in a nutshell, I mean, you've got lots of books that cover this, so I won't go into what the books cover. I think the first thing is persistence and determination is really key to this. You don't get into the first business, expect it to take off, and you're going to be a boss within 12 months. It doesn't happen that way most of the time. So what we do think that people should have is the persistence at what they're doing, focus, and the determination to see it through.
Okay.
So that's key. I think that's key.
Okay. And would you advise young people or anyone for that matter to jump into this entrepreneurship game?
I would.
At this point in time, I mean...
Well, I would, because any time's a good time. I mean, when you think about it, you've got one life to live, you know, and you don't want to end up on your dying bed wondering, what if I tried differently? What if I lived my life differently? So, as I said earlier, we can always start with something that we feel we can manage. If we are adverse to risk, then we manage something smaller.
Yep.
And if it's scalable, which we coach in our program, if it's scalable, then we take it all the way to something much larger. But definitely this is a path, I think, which is interesting, it's exciting, and just about anyone should at least dabble in this, if not for the income, for life's adventure itself.
Wow, fantastic. Are there resources out there, I mean, bodies that to help entrepreneurs?
Oh yes, they are. In Malaysia, we're fortunate enough to have a whole spectrum of them. We've got guys like Cradle Funding, who actually look for specific technologies that's proprietary and that's Malaysian, that they fund up to 150,000 initial pre-seed money. There's MDAC, which is the Multimedia Development Corporation. They have another 150,000 for web-based ideas.
Okay.
You've got SMIDAC, you've got Commentary and Scythe. You've got a whole plethora of these guys who are prepared to fund you if your ideas hold water.
Oh, fantastic. So there's a lot of resources out there to help and support entrepreneurship. So now's a great time for you to kind of dabble in entrepreneurship then, seems to be.
Yes.
What, you know, for MoneyTree itself and also your partners, I mean, what are some programs that you have to support entrepreneurship? Well,
besides the entrepreneur program which we run, we do that in colleges, universities and all this. We actually work very closely with fund providers, grant providers like Cradle and MDAC. Essentially, there is a process of selection, but where people fail, and this is a problem in Malaysia, where people fail, is that they don't come out and express their ideas explicitly. You don't have a commercial edge to it, and because people don't know how to sell their ideas, at interview stage they fail. So we have programs to get the entrepreneurs would be to have their confidence boosted, and from there then we fine-tune the ideas to make it absolutely commercially viable.
Fantastic. And you talked a little bit about the Yes Challenge. What is that?
Okay, the Yes Challenge is a MoneyTree proprietary program. As I said, it stands for the Young Entrepreneur Startup Challenge. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to nurture a group of young people, youths, to form teams, startup businesses that they can take to the marketplace, implement, and from there we find the right mentors and the right funding partners to get them off the ground.
Fantastic. Michael, thanks so much for being here in our studios with us.
My pleasure. Thanks, Roshan.
Thank you. This has been another segment of StarJobs Help Project. So everything's good.
Cool.
We're just supposed to keep talking.
Okay.
And so on.